Here we go. So we're going to talk about a little bit about the Colts, their offense, and what's going to happen or what should happen versus what happened last year. We're going to talk a little bit about Indiana and Purdue game. It's happening tomorrow at 7 o'clock. So let's go on with it. All right. So the Indianapolis Colts, new head coach. We need to move on from right. We have a new looking offense that he's supposed to produce. Now, last year, what we were missing was a quarterback. I'll be out there in a minute, my puppy. Anyways, we were missing a good quarterback. We were missing pieces in the offensive line. We weren't getting the receiver play that we need to be getting. And not to say that Pittman is not no good, because he's excellent. He will get the 50-50 ball, and he's really sure-handed. So we were there with that. He's a good receiver. I'm not saying he's not, because he absolutely is. And then we got Paris Campbell, quick. He can do things that a lot of the receivers that on our own team cannot do. He's got the speed, and so with those two, kind of playing off each other, it should have been a good outcome, right? But it just wasn't. So I think we keep Pittman. Paris is a good addition, but he's not as sure-handed as Pittman. His routes don't look as good. Pittman's routes look great. It is what it is as far as the receivers go. We do have possibly an outbreaking year for Alec Pierce, and he could explode. Now he was climbing to get balls. He was a 50-50 ball guy, and he was getting them, but there was nothing after the catch whatsoever. So we just don't have the speed guy. We need an outbreaking receiver, somebody. And I would love Marvin Harris Jr. He can pretty much do everything, and it'd be awesome if we got him. Now, with that said, we are set up to possibly get another high round pick next year. And if we are not, then I'm good with that as well. But rookie quarterback coming in, brand new offense. It wouldn't surprise me if we had a 4-winning season or even a 3-winning season. It would not surprise me any. The reason for that is because there's going to be a lot of new, a lot of first time, and a lot of things that's just going to play through. Now, our defense played well last year. There was times they didn't play great, but they played well. We're going to lose, or at least I think we should lose, some defensive backs that just do not fit the system as well as the old system. And I think that we will see that in the off season, people coming and going, getting traded, released, and our defense actually improving, because it was the first time for our defense that was laid out last year. That was the first time we played that defense, and they kept people, and I think now they know where they're going to make their cuts. And our defense is going to be probably a good defense next year. But the problem is we can't just lean on our defense. We did a lot of that last year. We do not need to be doing it again. So I personally think that we are looking good for another high pick, and I would love to get Marvin Harrison Jr. He looks like a beast, and that's what we need. That's the kind of receiver we need. So with that said, let's move on to Indiana. So Indiana, they're going Purdue. Purdue has been a rivalry in years, and it's been a huge rivalry, and it's always been a pumped up rivalry, and it's always been Purdue versus IU. No matter if one of them only had one wins, the other one had 15. It didn't make no difference. It did not matter on who had the best record because it brought the best out of all the players. And that's the reason why Indiana could win at home, regardless how good the team was, because that's just the way it was. You get pumped up, you play better, it draws out the best out of you. Now, I personally think Indiana has a chance to win against Purdue at Maccabee, but the odds are it's not going to happen. I mean, just being realistic, I want them to win. I think they could win, but Purdue has a few things going for them. Number one, it's at home, and they're going to have everybody there. They'll be pumped up. It's going to be emotional. And with that kind of environment, if your team can keep playing with that energy that the audience is feeding to them, it's hard. It's nearly impossible if you're a good team. You don't even have to be a great team. A good team. A good team can be any great team at home with that kind of surroundings. Now, Indiana has not been playing to their potential either. And if you're not playing to your potential and you're going to a hostile environment and it's an IU and Purdue game, you're going to lose. It's just plain and simple. It's facts. Now, I've been seeing that people's been talking about a double digit loss. I don't think it's going to be that big of a loss. If it is, it might be 10 points, but I'm looking between 1 and 10 if we lose. I'm saying if because I'm trying to be optimistic about this. But Purdue is actually a good team that has not been playing great, but they play as a team and they feed on each other and they play consistently. But it's hard. And I mean, Indiana's not. They're just not playing consistently. They're not playing as a team every single night. And I really don't understand what's going on with them. And I don't understand how we lost that game the other night. So Michigan State should have never won that game at all. And we let them come back and win that game. And I personally did not like the refereeing in that game. There was quite a few calls that were kind of nonchalantly missed. But I mean, it was played like an away and home game. It wasn't that horrible. I shouldn't say I didn't like it. The calls were made where they would normally be called if you were home, vice versa for the away team. It's things happen. They say that it doesn't happen that way. It's BS. It happens that way. But you should expect that. You got to play through it. You got to play well enough to win. And even if there are extremely bad calls, and you had a chance to win the game, and you didn't play through it and you lost because of your play, then it's because of your play. Some calls just don't make a difference. It shouldn't have been called, but you should have won anyways. And I feel like Indiana should have won that game. And how they let it get away from them, I don't know. There was a high screen that just Indiana got destroyed on. So I'm hoping that Indiana figures out a way to fix that problem because they didn't in that game. Michigan State tore them up. But in all realistically, everybody's choosing Indiana to lose this game. Now I'm hoping that Indiana feeds on that. I hope that they decide, you know what, you think we're going to lose this game? No, it's not what's going to happen. And that's the way it needs to be looked at. And that's the way Indiana's always looked at it. Indiana has lost their way just a little bit. Indiana players do not look like Hoosiers that used to be. They do not have the pride, I guess. I'm not going to point out exactly what it is, but they're missing something. Something's not there. I ain't going to call it pride. I'm not sure what to call it, but it isn't there. It's better than what it was last year. It was better than what it was the year before that. Trace Jackson Davis came in, and that stuff just wasn't there no more. And it is building back up to it, though. It is building back up to it, and it's starting to get where it needs to be. It's just not there, though. So for Indiana to win this game, they need to reach deep. They need to play against the grain, and they need to like playing against the grain at Purdue. That's what they got to do to win it. The odds are they're not going to. huge Indiana fan. I would never bet against them, just trying to speak out the obvious. But we have hope. We have hope because Indiana has played really well and they played really poor. So, which side of Indiana we're going to get tomorrow night, I don't know. I'm hoping the better because I want to see a good basketball game. I love basketball in general. I love watching basketball, especially when they're close games, because I mean, both teams are putting whatever they have and leaving it on the court. So, anyhow, if you like this video, please like. If you have not liked this video, please scroll down and find one you do like. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. And I'm going to try to make better content. I know that I have not been the greatest on the camera. I'm trying to improve. Suggestions, please leave them. Good, bad, and ugly, I'll respond. You guys have a good one. I'll catch you on the next one.